He smiled as the bullets tore through him. Another laughed while holding a boy's severed head. One ruled a city at just 22, daring anyone to stop him. 3 men, 3 cities, and one invisible force connecting them all. This is the story Nigeria was never ready to hear. This is not just a story about crime. It's about power, fear, and the dark web of cults, corruption, and desperation that turned 3 ordinary men into monsters. We follow the chilling rise and fall of Ishola Oyenusi, Derico Nwamama, and the Otokoto ritualists, and reveal the disturbing truth that links them all. Lagos, 1971. He was charismatic, brilliant, and deadly. Dr. Ishola Oyenusi wasn't a real doctor, but his precision in murder and robbery earned him the nickname. In a country still recovering from civil war, he saw an opportunity. Chaos was the perfect cover. He hijacked cars, robbed banks, and gunned down anyone who stood in his way. His victims weren't just bystanders. They were police, soldiers, innocent civilians. And somehow, he always slipped away. Until one day, he didn't. He was caught, paraded, sentenced. But what shook the nation most was that he smiled as he stood before a firing squad at Owerri Beach. Thousands watched. And as the shots rang out, a question lingered in the smoke. What makes a man fearless in the face of death? Onitsha, 2001. 30 years later, a new monster wore a similar grin. Derico Nwamama was just 22, but he had slaughtered more than 100 civilians and 25 police officers. He didn't hide. He taunted. He walked the streets armed, confident that charms and connections would protect him. He wasn't alone. People whispered of underground cults, of powers bought in blood and fear. Police tried. They failed. Even his name caused panic in marketplaces. That's when the government made a desperate choice. Unleashed the Bakassi Boys, a vigilante force known for dark rituals and brutal justice. They found Derico in poor. No gunfight. No resistance. It was as if he knew. Days later, at a Kanja market, a crowd gathered. As the Bakassi Boys raised their machetes, Derico's eyes didn't beg. He didn't scream. He watched. And then silence. Owerri, 1996. 5 years before Derico's end, the city of Owerri was already drowning in shadows. A boy named Anthony Okorogbo, just 11, selling groundnuts to feed his family, walked into Otokoto Hotel. He never walked out. A man named Innocent Ikianyangwa drugged him, murdered him, and cut off his head, all to sell to a client for ritual wealth. But this time, fate intervened. A motorcycle driver noticed blood dripping from the package he carried and alerted the police. When Ikianyangwa was caught, he confessed. But before he could testify, he was poisoned in custody. The public snapped. Riots erupted. Buildings burned. The Black Scorpion cult was exposed, revealing that Otokoto was more than a hotel. It was a factory of death, feeding human parts to the powerful. Different cities. Different decades. Different men. But look deeper. Oyenusi's rise followed the Civil War, where order collapsed and crime flourished. Derico was made in the vacuum left by corrupt leadership and failing police. The Otokoto killers operated under the shield of wealth, cult protection, and silence. What do they all have in common? A system that failed, a culture of fear, and a nation that sometimes needs monsters to fight monsters. Was Oyenusi's smile a dare to the state? Was Derico's calm surrender an acknowledgement of defeat or prophecy? Was Ikianyangwa's silence bought or forced? And what about us? We cheered when the Bakassi Boys beheaded Derico. We filmed Oyenusi die. We rioted over Otokoto. But did we fix the system? Or just bury the evidence? Today, their names live in whispers. Oyenusi, Derico, Otokoto. But if you listen closely, you'll hear the same patterns return. Corruption, violence, fear, and the people, again, waiting for justice or vengeance. Because in Nigeria, sometimes justice wears a uniform, sometimes a charm, and sometimes it wears a smile. If this story shook you, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into Africa's untold crimes. What do you think? Were these men born monsters or created by the system?